And don't forget, everyone can call in. Just use this number. The number is 605-472-5765. The access code is 6080 #.
To call and to speak to Kelly, use these numbers. Dial 605-472-5765. Then dial the access code 608060 #. Then to join the session, which will be awesome. Congratulations, you are now ready. Tell everyone we expect 1,000 people listening on their phones from all over the world.
This is a Pyramid One International Network presentation. Good evening, and welcome to Conscious Speaks. Let me tell you a little about the host. Her name is Kellie J. Wright. You all know her. Tonight, be a part of the conversation. What it means to truly love yourself. Free of judgment, fear, ego, pride, and jealousy. She says, we learn to undo what we have accepted or taken on as part of our perception of self. We are free from negative self-talk. Start a 90-day transformation, and she will assist along your journey. Whenever two or more are in his presence is how this works. Kellie's ebook is how she walked her mind out of doubt and fear, one blog at a time for 13 weeks, into loving and acceptance of self. The first step is the hardest, and it will become a way of life. Once we know we can free our thoughts from fear, the work becomes a staple item to the goodness it provides. Life is a gift. So make sure you choose to wrap yours in a world that is created by and lived on your terms. Kellie J. Wright is a successful radio show host, self-love transformational guide, business owner and voice, and author at www.internaljourneys.com. Kellie is on a passion-filled mission to help individuals discover their own truth through her actualized process called the 90-Day Transformation. Now, may I introduce to you, the audience, to the entire world, to the universe, to the light, Kellie J. Wright.
Hi, everybody out there. Hello, Bob. How are you doing today?
What's happening?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know. It's I don't know. What a world. I mean, have you been looking around? I mean, to tell you the truth, Ned, I think I'll take the 90-day transformation over again. I mean, it's like, I'm serious. I mean, what is this? What's going on in our world? I mean, every single time I turn on the radio, I hear about this guy and that guy and the other guy and the other guy. Why don't somebody, come on, all I want to hear All I want to hear just once is a story about somebody rescuing a cat from a tree. That's all I want to hear. Something I can smile to or laugh at or something. All this doom and gloom.
I don't turn those on, so I don't know. When I said I don't know what's good, I really don't.
I
do. I'm abreast of it. I don't want to sound like I don't participate. I'm abreast of it. I will pull up several times during the day, CNN or Fox, and just glance to see if there's anything going on. But then I put it down. There's nothing that I'm going to do that's going to directly involve what's going on in those issues. So I stay involved in mine.
What I was going to say.
I create my world from my place.
What I was going to say was to everybody that's listening to this broadcast, you must take the 90-day transformation course. You got to. Me personally, I mean, things like that help me through my day. I go through my day starting at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now it's 6 o'clock Eastern time here.
Yeah.
So I've already been up for how many hours? Let me see, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours. All right. And I'm still like I woke up the same person, the same way. Why? Because I realize what is going on in my world and I know who I am. So when you know who I am, you're good to go. I was listening to the show, to the introduction today, like I do, to ask for grace and stay connected and see what's coming through. And it says, what are you choosing? What are your choices? Right? When you choose a 90-day transformation is where that was coming from. And that's how we really build our flavor and recipe of our life, right? And it's a choice, right? It's a choice to turn on the news or not. It's a choice to be involved or not. It's a choice to take a 90-day transformation and change the way you feel about yourself, thus changing the way you participate in the world, deep breath, and the way that you affect others. We constantly we affect each other in ways. I'll admit it's crazy right now. I mean, it's always crazy, but it's different crazy. When we have even our sports teams are affected by what's going on, and we look at the different ways that every person, there's not one person not affected with what's going on right now in the universe, especially in the United States of America, with what our choices are, and they don't have to be that way. That's the funny thing. It's like we could flip the switch. We don't have to work from fear. There's everybody will hear me say it again. There's enough resources. There's enough food. There's enough space for all of us to actually start helping each other and thriving and building an economy and life from love-based being versus fear, which is scarcity and protecting what you have and borders and fences and all these different things. Like if we really switch the energy to love, we all still be very busy working at it. It's a lot of work to even be in a love-based frequency. So it's not like it's going to be all joy and butterflies once we get there, but it's going to be peaceful, harmonic. It doesn't mean we're perfect. We're going to have days, but we're working on our stuff. We don't take it out on others. And that allows everything to kind of to be a choice of self-love versus fear. I don't know. I see. I'm just a crazy guy. I mean, I want the butterflies and the nice things and the blue skies and the whole thing. I put that in my mind, and I don't care what it's doing around me. The blue sky and the butterflies are there. Yeah.
Well, the truth is, when we talk about this in the fifth week of fourth week of a 90-day transformation, we our shine bright, which is our frequency, and that's how we connect to the world. So if we look at that, I've been talking to new clients about this, and I actually have 2 seats open. If there's anybody out there who's interested in working with me, I have 2 seats available for students to come work with me at Internal Journeys. And so if you know someone or that might be interested in the work, if you're interested, reach out, call in, or send me a message, because I've been having a lot of fun connecting to the new students starting this week, and we've got a great energy flow going, and it keeps coming back to self-love. No one's immune from this. We all have something inside of us that we haven't, unless you've done this work, that we haven't worked through yet. And if you've done this work, you've worked through it, but now doesn't mean it technically goes away. It doesn't wipe your board clear. It can. It truly can, but that's a whole nother journey. But what you do is you learn how to be with it. You learn how to be with yourself, and you get to shine bright in who you came to be, because you are literally free from fear of the parts inside of you where you thought you didn't do good enough. You could have been better at this. I often think, I could have been a better wife. I couldn't have then. There's no way I could have done it then. I didn't have the skills I have now. So if I think about that and then I look at that and I beat myself up for it, then I'm beating something up that doesn't exist anywhere, because I'm not a wife now. And so the skills that I have that would have made me a better wife then, they don't even make sense. It's a catch-22. So you have people walking around out there beating themselves up in the past for things that they did that they didn't have the knowledge to not do yet. It's really interesting to do the work, because you end up carrying yourself forward and beating yourself up for things that really aren't even connected. They're not connected. The person you are now can't be the person you were then, and vice versa. Well, you could, but but I mean, it's just like we grow forward, and we're usually learning and acquiring new skills, but. And sometimes we do slip backwards, but we still have the new skills that we've gained. I tell my clients this a lot. I say, what you've learned, if you've assimilated it through inside of you, inside out, it never goes away. It's there. You just have to remember to tap into it. And a lot of the work that we do it in is remembering that, oh yeah, I can go back. I have that tool. I need to go back and grab it. I need to remember that I'm the center of my own storm, that I create everything in my life, that life is beautiful because it's happening, not because of any other reason, and that there are going to be days like that. But I don't have to let them affect me. I can choose to weather the storm, like butterflies in the middle of a storm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody wants butterflies, and that's okay, because if they love their dragons, I want you to have dragons. But everything could be love-based, right? We don't have to be fear-based. That's why in Shine Bright, we always talk about what's your favorite color. How do you decorate your house? It's the feng shui of your soul. That's what we're really working on in that Shine Bright week. We're claiming our frequency. So we look at, who are we? What are we creating on the outside that shows us who we are on the inside? Or what is our inside trying to get us to look at by what we're creating on the outside? That's where I started my journey, because my outside wasn't matching my inside. And so I just wanted to let you know that you might not know that those things can be changed, but they can. And it's just because it's a 25% that you want to change, and that 25% doesn't rear its head enough that you feel like it's a problem. And by the time you get done beating yourself up for it, you're already forgiven and you've made peace with whatever's going on, and then you forget, and then all the reasons that you should have started a 90-day transformation, you've tucked back into that drawer to be popped open later. That's what happens. Sometimes people call and want to start the work, and then by the time they're ready to start, they already feel better. So they're like, oh, I don't need to do this right now. Well, what you're doing is you're just planting a seed. You're going to come back. You're going to come back, and you're going to see that if that next time that lightning strikes, that I remember I reached out to Kellie. Should I do that again? Do I do this? And the funny thing is you won't remember half of what happened, and that's like that you started, you wanted to, you were side railed by fear or thinking that you had it handled by yourself, and then you jump back in your loop and you're there again, but it's just there's this distance and you almost just pass it by, and then you don't call. Right?
But calling, hey, wait a minute. There are people right now. In fact, I think I left a message on your Skype.
Oh, I have problems with
Right.
I told you that. You got to help me out.
Thank you. Yeah, anybody having trouble there with Microsoft and that, forget it. Anyway, the number to call in and talk to Kellie is 605-472-5765, and the code to get in is 60860#. Very,
right,
very simple.
And it's a choice. That's the theme of the day for the show. It is a choice to stake our mental constitution. It is a choice to choose love over fear. It is a practice to keep using and earning and furthering those tools so that we can be love. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you commit to the journey you've started, if you look at the journey and you pass it by, then you will graduate later. Really, what you're doing is you're missing time that you could be happier sooner. We aren't promised tomorrow, right? But we are promised today. And if people say, oh, I don't have time to start a 90-day transformation, and I know it's not them, I know it's their fear, because you're not really trading much more time to do a 90-day transformation, because you're already thinking about all these things. We work with thought, everything that's working in real time. So you're already thinking all these things. You're having these experiences. They're just from a fear-based dictionary and vibration, because you haven't flipped the switch yet. And so when you do this work, you start thinking about the things that you're thinking about anyways with these new tools. You gain one new tool a week, and you get to start processing them in real time. It is a choice. It's a choice to call in, right? It's a choice to listen and then realize maybe, oh, I'm just listening, but I've been listening for quite a while. What would it feel like? What would it feel like to take the chance to set up a consultation, right? To do a 90-day transformation. If you've done this work, you want everybody to do it, and I think that's the first step that I try to help people get through, is like, yeah, it's not about wanting everyone else to be like this. It's wanting everybody to be where they are until they're ready to do what they've come to do. And I think that we all are on our own personal journey. I was explaining this to a client earlier today. You know, it's a big beehive, and not everyone's in the same place in their journey. And if everybody was face forward in themselves doing spiritual I am work, I don't know if everything else would get done that needs to get done for the planet to work. If you look at it as a hierarchy and a system and a place that we have to have everything get done, and maybe we're coming here to learn through that place, then we all have to like go through these different levels of learning. And it has to be where we're not really paying attention, but we're just here to have a great life, a happy family. We go to work, we make sure everybody gets electricity and their phone goes up when the storm comes, or we make sure that the plants are cropped so everyone has their food. We make sure that the news is going out so people can be educated. Everyone has a place to, there's a song that's being sung in this planet, and it is in so many harmonies and keys that everybody needs to be in their place. It's like an orchestra, and everyone's doing their part to make this place exist, but we can't all be the same, or it really wouldn't be a song, right? We need different parts to make a song, different notes, keys, instruments. And the way that song is beautiful is by when we allow each other to shine bright and be who we've come to be. And when people are not in the same page, we don't shame them. Whether someone has a different point of view, we don't shame them. We learn that where my rights end, where yours begin, right? And so it was in one of my sociology classes I was listening to. I go to school off and on. I love education. And so I was an adult in a community college sociology class. So there's a lot of younger adults there too. And it came up about gay marriage. And I was like, I just braced myself for that one. This is going to be fun. And one of the girls was really passionate about that. If you're gay, you're going to go to hell. And I just thought, I'm not opening my mouth because these children are here. I'm an adult going to school. I'm going to let them talk, and I'm going to be a part of witness what their conversation is so they can all learn. But all I wanted to let everyone know was this is what came to my mind while I was listening to them. And that is that if you want to believe something, believe it for yourself. Don't oppose it on everyone else. If you want to believe that if you do something, you're going to hell, then don't do it because that's your belief. You are what you believe. But your belief doesn't have anything to do with anyone else's beliefs. So we shouldn't try to impose those on other people. And everyone's here to walk their own journey and have their own life. So if you're just all into yourself, doing your journey, you're cool. But when you try to impose your journey on other people, even if it's transformation work, it can be a little bit overwhelming because we have to make room for everyone to be who they've come to be. Again, my rights stop where yours begin. And that's, if we could all learn that lesson, my rights stop where yours begin, then we're able to not hurt each other when we don't have the same intentions or the same song or the same frequency. We literally just keep vibrating around till you find what we call it in your circle of likeness. When you find your circle of likeness, that's where you have to talk about all the things you're passionate about. You don't try to change somebody's mind that is opposed to your passion and view, unless they want you to. They've asked you to, right? And I think that we've lost a lot of social etiquette in this world. I think that people are socially stunned, that there's a lot that's happened and that we're shell-shocked, and people think that if someone doesn't believe what they believe, then they believe they're wrong. And the truth is, if that's a mirror, then there's something inside you that might think that that's wrong. And so we have to start looking at what is it that we're fighting against so, impassionately, that we want someone else to understand. What is it that we're trying to understand about it? What is it that we're trying to take away or give to it? Because hurting each other is not the answer. It doesn't change anything. People do change when people get hurt. That's a way, but as we could tell throughout history, it's not a fun way. It's not a growing way. It's not a loving way. Nobody has a child. Nobody gives a birth. Nobody holds a baby and wants them to be ridiculed and not respected and loved. I've talked about this in a million times. I love it when I say a million times. I'm sure it's been far less than that, but quite a lot. That everyone is king and queen of their own hearth. Every home is staked in love for the people and family that inhabit that home. Everyone leaves their house in the morning to go to work to do what? To go to work to provide for their home, their hearth, their family, their friends. Everyone wants to have a great week so they could come home and have a good weekend. We could talk about how that is, what that is or isn't, but that's the way society runs here mostly. So everyone should have the right to be able to do that, to walk out the door and not be afraid, to not be afraid to be who they've come to be, to love who they want to love, to be able to smile and just go do a good work. I worked with a French guy. Oh, he was awesome. I've been in construction management for a long time, but he was from France, and I worked with him at, I think it was Impacts Development. And he was always very into his work. He's an architect. But he was like, I don't know what it is about you Americans. You all have to be friends with each other at work. No, you're not friends. You go to work, you do your job, you do a good job, you go home, and then there's no drama in the workplace. And I used to look at him and go, what do you mean we're not friends? Everybody's friends. But the truth is, he was right. People are there, and they're not. If you're not happy at home, you make your work your family. Or if you are, I mean, not that your work's not your family, but I think we're spreading ourselves so thin that we're not able to really to be in both places at once the way that we should be. And it has never made more sense to me that if we just went to work and did a good job, if we had transformation work so we didn't have to use the office cooler as a gossip and letting all of our steam off because we don't have anyone to say it to. If you didn't have office politics and everyone just went to work and did a good job, can you imagine how amazing our home lives would be?
I'm thinking about what you're saying as you're saying it, and I'm thinking about when I was at work, and everybody knew everybody. We were all friends and things. And you're right, though, because a lot of people that would vent on other people because they couldn't vent to the people that really meant something to them, which was actually, in a way, I'm thinking about this. I mean, let's face it. I mean, I've been working in the mainstream, in the bigger mains, I don't know, the guys that they were born with their nose up in the air, but it was like, I was in that kind of clique, and it was funny though because what you're saying is so true. I mean, really, seriously. I mean, I did. I went to work to do work because everybody else was wasting my time. I'm serious. That's just the way I was. But I mean, I was always faster than everybody else. I thought faster than everybody else. I came up with a conclusion before everybody else did, and I didn't need paper to write it on. But I mean, that's just the way it was. That because I went there, just like your friend said, I went to work to do work.
Yeah,
that was.
I just remember saying that the people at work are not your friends. They shouldn't be your friends. This is where you come to work. And I was just like, that is so un-American because at work in America, that's what everyone does. They seriously, I think we're so stretched because there's no room for rest. And there's two families going on, and there's a lot of emotions being pulled. Not that you shouldn't be friends with the people you work with, and we definitely want to like the people we work with. But when we make home a part of our core value of our home, then we're straddling two different worlds. I just got zapped
by one of your listeners, by the way. It just came into my zapped. I call him zapped. It's like when a thought is like flying around, it just happens to land. Somebody out there in that is thinking, what do you mean I shouldn't have any friends at work? Well, I'm going to give an explanation to that since whoever it was has very, very, very high, I mean, big, strong thoughts.
energy.
Yeah, I mean, the energy was like, wow, it hit me. So the thing is, you have friends at work, but ask yourself in your heart, are you friends in work or friends in work and out of work? Have you added out of work? Are there friends of you that you spend time with? Or that, like, yeah, I don't know, you go to a movie, or you go on a picnic, or you go to the lake, or you go boating or something. But you know them from work, but they're still friends. If the people that are your friends at work are only friends at work, it's time to pull the plug.
Right. It's really interesting it's coming through because I didn't plan it, you didn't plan it. It's just the way the conversations went. And it's we smear lines. I didn't even think this would come up, but it's never planned. I read an article, about how flirting at work is not good. Because if you're flirting at work, something is going to end up happening. Because there's something not right at home. And so a lot of times when people aren't happy at home, they find their happiness at work. And it might not have been intended, but there's a lot of places where things fall apart. Because again, like you said, they're not telling what they want to say to the right person.
Exactly.
I want to talk to my wife or my husband about this, or my daughter or my best friend or my sister or my mom, but because I can't, because of the literally 90-day transformation work clears all this, because I can't, because of the tension that's holding us in from the values and the placement and the rules and hierarchies of our internal families. We take it elsewhere. So not only are we not fixing what we could at home by learning to speak our truth so we could be with the people we really love but are afraid to or don't know how to, then we create this whole second family or the second place to be at work. So no one's really winning, right? Because you're going to go home anyways. That's the family you spend your time with, and then you have the one away. And this is just freestyling here. Yeah, if you're out there,
the person
if it's
at work,
on you,
the person at work is not the person that you really want to talk to. Therefore, the person that you're talking to at work is a different person. Different,
right, because everyone's different
ideals,
at work anyway.
different thoughts.
And we do need camaraderie. We do need to be able to enjoy working with each other. But I've worked at a lot of different places, and I've had a long career. And I'm 49, so I've been in the workplace since I was 18, and I've looked at it, and you see who's there to work, and you see who's there to social and work, and you see who's just there to work, and they're not really sure. It's become, I always say it's like high school, but it's adults. And if we don't have the ability to make work a safe place where people can go, do a good job, and make everybody happy. And it's interesting because I didn't do this on purpose, but I just created a 3-day workshop for corporate training. Because once we learn how to heal our hearts and our minds, we create a healthy workspace. You know what that creates? A healthy heart. Yep. When we're at work, if it's not happy and good, if there's stress, we take it home. If at home we're not happy, but we can't talk about it, we take that stress to work. So all this stuff is just going back and forth. Mm-hmm. Like we said, it's a choice, and that harmonic key that we run on, that this universe is running on, is not in sync. It's not in tempo. And so if we start to heal our own harmonic keys, then we start writing the circumference. And we can go to work and have an acquaintance friend, right? But it's not someone that you bare your soul to and tell your whole life to. And that, like Bob says, you're not telling the person that you should be telling these things to. You're telling someone else, right?
Who really don't care.
Who's obviously, I say misery loves company. So anybody who's going to indulge and have an opinion is either not wanting to talk about their own stuff, or is just working from their own internal memory bank. If I go to work and I tell somebody about a problem I have with my husband or wife, and someone I'm telling this to doesn't respond in a way that's constructive but is argumentative and gives opinions and tells you what to do, they're either deflecting or they're stuck in the eye. Like they're giving you advice that has nothing to do with you because it's all their advice. So, like I said on a couple shows ago, after my divorce, when I met someone by chance that I was attracted to, all my friends, again, I'll tell you, I look back now and I'm like, that was not advice I would give to somebody.
Oops. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
they said nobody's dead, nobody died, right?
Exactly.
If you like them, you
Exactly.
should go on a date. And I'm like, I'm not even divorced yet. It's just like 3 months after I separated, and for some reason that worked, right? That was okay advice for me. That shows you where I was. And if we start to look at where we are and who's giving us advice, then we really get to start maybe making that change. We do make a choice to go, maybe I need to talk to someone who, like Kellie, does this for a living. It's confidential. It's a 90-day transformation. I'm actually going to change. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to learn to communicate. I'm going to learn that it's not everyone else that I'm mad at. It's probably me, because there's some agreement in there that I haven't figured out how to flip from love to fear to love. And I don't need to make work this place I escape, because it's a place I go to work and come home and then build. I always say home and hearth first. Home and hearth first. If we take care of home and hearth first, then we could create this place we go back and forth from. Everything's about home and hearth. And that starts in our own mind and our heart. Did you say we have a phone call?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, good. Someone could take me off give me what's it called? I always say landline, but what's it called when you give someone a call, I always say those things backwards. You get a free, like a lifesaver line in the game shows. You get to call somebody for, what's it called?
Lifeline.
I'm like, Lifeline, yeah.
Lifeline.
I always say a landline.
Yeah, you were there.
I know it's wrong.
Lifeline, yeah.
Yeah.
Area code 509. Who's on the phone?
Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Kellie.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing really good. I came over to Tacoma, and I'm in sort of a shock because I'm so used to hanging out in the country with my goats. I'm like, whoa. I was at Costco, and I went, oh, God, I got to go get on and listen to my friends and Bob. Because, Bob, you give good energy, too, brother, and you say some beautiful insights that I appreciate so much, along with Diana. You three are marvelous.
Why, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
But, on the workplace, I've got you all beat. Because I worked 30 years of it at a food processing plant, 12-hour shifts. And I'd go in there so happy and go home so happy. I got drug tested all the time. There's people around me about this blanking job, damn corn. People are immersed in corn from the cutters and stuff. I was a forklift driver, so it's pretty mellow. I smiled and people didn't know what was wrong with me. But you're right, Kellie. When you keep your center, then you can take all that disillusion and just wipe it right past you, And the reason why I love Kellie so much is she reaffirms my ideas about God and the creation, and she just nails everything. And I go, God, I'm not crazy. Somebody else thinks like me. So I just love her.
Yep, that's perfect.
I love you too, Tim. Thank you so much. I love that. And I love you sharing your story.
And I want to know about the goats.
Terrible job.
Yeah.
He has great goats.
You got, wait a minute, Tim, you got goats?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I got little pygmy goats, and I've got a dog that's twice as high as my goats, my mastiff.
Oh, those are the ones that people do the yoga, and you put it on your back?
Yeah.
There you go.
But I wouldn't put mine on my back. They'd probably poop on me. Bob, I put them out in the morning and run up to their porch to poop before they do anything. Thank God it's hard so I can sweep them off.
Yeah, well, right now, and as it is that Kellie and I walk our dogs early in the morning just so they don't come back inside and do it. So,
exactly.
Oh, mine's so smart. I don't have to worry about it. She comes and tells me when she needs to go.
Oh, there you go.
You're really, yeah. I've got a brand new golden retriever puppy, so I'm on the 2 hours up. Every night I set my alarm clocks to take her outside, and it's interesting having a new baby in the house. And I work from home, so as you guys know, so I don't have any of the work drama, as they call it. It's interesting that we don't realize that if we can make the workplace safe and happy for everyone, that we really do make self-love prevalent, and then people can be happy at home. We spend more time at work than we do with our family, and I think that's why I think it's very miscued that it starts to replace family, because not replace it, but it starts to take up a big chunk of that energy, because we're there all the time, and there's a lot demanded of us. And, you know, in an economy like this, people are working harder for less even. And if we could figure out how to keep the workplace a happy place, then we'll be able to make home a happy place. And then what happens is outside, every avenue in between home and that place you go to work starts to change the energy, because all the energy of all the homes, all the energy of all the businesses and establishments, they're radiating joy versus fear. It's been on my mind a lot lately because I created that workshop, but I didn't think this conversation would come up. If anybody has anything to say, whether you agree or disagree, call in, because I would love to hear anybody's idea on it. And I think I'm in the right place when I say, you know, I can't remember his name. I want to say Jacques. It's such a cliche, but I think his first name was Jacques. And I remember Jacques telling me that, and I just thought he was out of his mind. You know, he's you Americans, and I just thought, okay. And now I look at it, and you know, people are not happy at work. It's because and they're going out, and they're not happy on the streets, and so we have a lot of unhappiness being incited by people that haven't learned how to not realize it's them they're not happy with and others. And then everyone's on the internet, they're on the different radio shows, they're on Twitter, and everyone's just reacting. No one's talking, no one's listening, no one's happy. And I've even a lot tried to figure out how to, because I do see this from my point of view, which is just my point of view, how to be more interactive in a different way in my social media life. You know, am I just asking? Am I just pushing? How do I get more involved? How do I be more available to those that really truly are connecting to me spiritually, and how do I draw that line? How do you use your time wisely? And you know, that comes down to, it's a choice again. What are you choosing? What are your choices, right? What creates the recipe of you? We talk about the recipe of you in a second 90-day transformation. We deconstruct our internal dictionaries and our expectations in relationships. And those two tools, those two codes, those two forums that we run on inside of us are not separate. We don't treat anyone separate. That's how we react with everybody. And so it's really interesting to learn that we can only treat people one way, and that's the way we treat ourselves.
What were you going to say, Tim?
Well, I always associate things with love in life, because John said God is love. So I ascertain every morning love in my heart, and these people around me that are so negative, I just let it fly by me. I don't collect it like a piece of tape or glue. I let it flow by me and stay in my happy mode. You know. My daughter over here says that I'm just a little bit too cordial, though, because I'll walk up and talk to anybody. And
you got Tim. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. You got my disease.
My sisters too.
Deficit disorder now, so I can't remember anything in the here and now, but I can remember everything from 40 years ago when I used to go to the Vedanta Temple in Seattle. You know.
You remember the good stuff then. You remember the good stuff. You know, to be too cordial, to be too inviting, you know, to be not cordial enough, to be not inviting. You know, it's all a balance of frequency. And if we shine bright in the hues of our own intention, we will attract what is like us. And so we'll stay in our circle of likeness, right? We won't really have to interfere with too many adversities. If you're to the far right of the spectrum or the far left, you're not going to see each other because you're that far away, right? And so likeness travels to likeness. My family, my whole life are like, you're too nice. You smile at everybody. You know, people would follow me out of stores. You know, want to talk to me, different things. I'm like, I just smile at everyone. She'd go, stop it. Just stop smiling at everybody. And I'm like, but I just love everybody. I'm so happy, and it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Life is what it is. And we could talk about these things and we could change the choices we want to make. We can go to work and do a really good job for our employers and make them happy, the customers happy, ourselves happy, and go home and have a happy life. Or we can go to work and complain and do a 75% job and make it through the day and then come back and do it again. And if you had a choice, which one would it be, right? If you had a choice to learn how to free yourself from fear so you could really tell your wife or husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend what your real honest thoughts were, or if you went to work and just told other people and then you still keep in a relationship where someone doesn't know you, you could change that to where you could tell them what you thought and learn how to grow and have a brighter relationship and really see each other and be a part of a true human love experience. What would your choice be, right? Because these are the things we're doing every day that, I'm going to be honest, sometimes we don't know we have a choice to flip. I didn't know all this 20 years ago, 10 years ago maybe. Not to the extent I do now. And that's why I do this work. I heard that there's a call coming in.
No, actually, that was going out. Tim hung up.
I thought someone was throwing me a landline again,
No,
a lifeline.
He was somebody. He was happy, I guess. I don't know.
Tim is happy. I love Tim. And again, he is like me. We're cabin dwellers. We have our animals. We live in the forest. So it's really easy to stay in your joy.
No, he's every single time he calls. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, he's such a grounded guy. He's very, very happy and at life and everything. And he is, I'm telling you, if him and I were in the same room, there would be not one dry eye in the whole place. I mean, the two of us would have people laughing their pants off for sure.
Yeah,
I'm serious. I mean, we
funny.
could take
Similar
between
energy.
him and we could definitely tell stories.
Well, and that's the truth, right? We want to be able to create those moments where we can go have joy, laugh till we cry. And I just feel like if we could just really realize that's not supposed to be at work anymore, it's supposed to be at home, that things would change. And if I'm wrong, somebody tell me.
Well, now wait a minute. You're 100% correct, and everything you just said in the last 5 minutes, that was 100% correct. The only thing that I ever saw in work was, in work, you're friendly with the people that are there, so they are close to you. You work together. Your energies are blending all day long. One person's doing this, and you help him, and you help them, and blah blah blah. Everybody depends upon everybody else to get one.
That's a good word. We depend on each other. We do depend on each other.
Right. So we depend upon each other to get something done, whatever that particular job is. At the same time, at work, it's a friendship. It's a blending of energies. And that to get one thing.
So you say it's a friendship versus an acquaintance?
It's a blending, not a, how would you say, targeted energy source and or receiver. For instance, you go home.
It's a choice.
Right, exactly. Just what you said before. Like I said, when you go home, though, at home, the first thing that comes up at home is compassion. Compassion for the people that are there, because you care for the people that are there. Those people that are there are part of you, part of your being, part of your energy. They are you. You are all in the same place at the same time, no matter what. And you take those people. See, this is what people don't know. I don't know why. Even on another show I was talking about this. People don't realize that when you go to work, you take your life and your home with you. With you. You never leave home. I don't care if you work at home or if you just rake the garden in the backyard. You never, ever leave work. What you do anywhere in the world all comes and emanates from one place, your home. That's where the love nest is. That's where the love is.
Did you say Love Nest? That's one of my
Yes.
blogs.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, Love Nest. I mean, that is the place now where everything happens, everything blooms, everything, even your imagination, and that is built from there. You go to work, and you go, oh, I get this idea. No, you don't. You had it at home. You were thinking about it at home. You brought it to work, but you can actually do something with that idea. You can do something with that mouth. You can do something with that piece of paper that you thought you had. You scribbled on it, said, "Oh, gee, I can make something that flies upside down." I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, but you can. It started at home, not at work. Like for instance, if I'm doing, say, I'm thinking about something like, I don't know, something on the radio, and I go, "Gee, it really, really sounds good." I'll turn off the radio and remember something that I actually did at home. I'll say, wow, that's okay. The energy is made. The idea is made.
Right. Well, because wherever we are, we're home. And I just want to, and I think that's what Bob's alluding to in that next layer of resonance is wherever we are is home, right? People used to say, oh, your home is where your heart is. And well, that's where you are, wherever you are, right? And so if we are solid and balanced in love and fear, we can make healthy choices of how we are creating and how we're being, interacting with the others in our lives wherever we are. Home, home's a choice too, but that's a forever choice, right? We're married, we've got a house, we got a family, like that's our home, right? To go to work, people, that's a choice. Am I going to work here? What do I want to do? And how do we make all of that fluid so we're happy? So it's a circle of happiness, right? I don't really like to use the word happiness, but it makes sense more than joy or bliss because it just does to a lot of people. But if you're in that circle of happiness, then everything's flowing. And I think that's really what I'm trying to get to, is that if there's chinks or blocks in that record, if there's a scratch either way, we're skipping. And how do we make it so we don't skip? How do we make it so home is home and work is work? And you're right. I really liked how you brought that up. That's what I think maybe I was not connecting to and needing in this conversation is we depend on each other at work because we have something to do, right? And that's why you have a certain time to be there. You show up, you get your breaks, you go home, and everybody has a schedule. And you all depend on each other to get a job done. We'll come back to that beehive we're talking about, the planet. I'm telling you, people, everyone here is a part of your home and family because everything that runs your home and family, if you think about who it took to make this cup, what it took to make this tea, what it takes for the electricity to flow through those lines, the water to come up through your drain, for the food to be in your refrigerator, for who made your plates and your cups, your dogs, what do you use to wash them or walk them or their treats? We all are together. We're all creating this place at the same time. So no one person is not needed. Everyone's needed for the song to work. If any of these tracks break down, you feel it. I was up here in a winter storm without power for 3 days. Now, mind you, I was fine. I had a backup plan. But when you get taken off of your grid, planned or not, you start to really look at how we're all needed. Because I'm telling you, everyone was calling the PUD, the electric company, to figure out when their electricity was going on. And everyone was waiting and trying to figure out what roads were closed or open through the highway patrol. Think about it. Think about how every single person is needed. And then think about being kind to the people that are a part of your life, because it is not just your family or your workplace. It is everyone who's creating and making all the products and services that we use every day, right? That whole all is one and one is all, I am, right? It's that song.
Yep.
The spirit. Did you say we have a call?
Yeah. Who is on area code 206?
Hi, it's Diana.
Aha.
Yay! Hi, Diana. How are you?
I'm good.
Yay!
I actually have been at the hospital since early this morning for 2 doctor's appointments that were like 4 hours apart. So it's been a long day. But good news, and I just made it back home to about, I think I tuned in at 3:10. So I've caught most of your show.
Cool. What do you think?
What do I think? That's my blog for this week.
That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, during my break, I got to sit outside in the park outside the hospital and just watch people. And then I thought, oh, that's right, my blog. What do I think? So I got to write on that. But I don't know. I kind of have a different take on what you've been talking about work versus home. And, you know, I'm sure that this is just me, but I've always so enjoyed my work. I had very close work relationships when I've been working for other companies. I just tend to really gravitate and be one-on-one with the people that I work with, and I establish these, you know, pretty deep relationships. I know you were talking about if you go to work and like complain about things, that's something entirely different. And I remember I used to do that. There was a time when I would go to work and just literally bitch about my husband, you know. And I look back on that now and go, that was just so not cool, not right. But since then, it's like I love the work relationships that I've had. I guess because, you know, being in the design world is very passionate and creative work, and I love the teams and going in at work every morning from 8 to 9 and having these conference calls with the product manager in California and the whole team of Indian developers from India. You know, it's 9 o'clock at night there, and get on track. And then you have your work set out for you, so I could go and then just work by myself for 5 hours and then do my deliverables and get everything out. And I mean, I love the energy, the synchronicity of working on teams with people to produce and create something. So I would always have these really close relationships with people at my work. But I do agree that we do bring home with us. Our home is, and our hearth and our loved ones are where we get all of our, you know, peer-centered energy, I guess I would say, that allows us to go into work and be happy and do a good job. So I don't know. Right. That was just my kind of take on it.
If we're happy at home, then we want to get up and do a good job, right? It's like you are part of the, you know, you've got this energy. This when we're happy in our heart, we get up on time. We get up early. We get up before the alarm clock, right? We're taking care of our home and hearth, which is not only our mind but our body, right? What we feed our body, how we fuel our body, giving it good stuff versus bad stuff. A work relationship and a compassionate relationship, I think, is what you said, Bob, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there is a difference because your relationship at work is a relationship. It's the blending of minds, a blend of tactics and different things that you do that are scientifically designed so that the work, in other words, comes all the way around and goes 360 so to protect or produce something. So that's that part. But now when you go home, that is the compassionate end. That is the part when you care from your heart for the people that are at home. Even if you had a big argument with them before you left. Been there, did that.
It's your family.
But I mean, I'm serious. I mean, it's one of these things that where you can actually go home and say, okay, what are we doing tonight?
You leave work at work, right?
That's right.
That's the thing. If
Disconnect.
we could leave work at work.
Disconnect.
Yeah.
Diana, you still there?
I must just be on a different wavelength, but I guess because I live alone now. I mean, I have been married. I have a daughter. My sisters, I'm really close with them, but when I come home, I guess my relationship is with myself and reaching out to my family. But maybe that's why work, I mean, I'll come home, and I used to come home and work for 3 hours just because I felt like it, because I was just so passionate about it and had ideas and wanted to work on it. So, I mean, I think it depends on maybe your life, if you're in a relationship, if you're actually coming home to someone. I think as much, then you really do need to leave your work at work and, concentrate more on that relationship. But when you live alone, it's like, I guess my relationship is with myself.
Diana, let me ask you.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing. At home is your relationship with you.
Let me ask her a question real quick. Do you take walks like early in the morning?
I'm not a morning person. I'll admit it.
Okay. How about after you go home and you have your dinner and everything else, and you sit down, before you sit down in front of a TV or whatever, don't you go out and take a walk around the block a couple times?
Oh, I spend probably 3 hours in the morning just sitting outside, and I spend hours at night. My place is outside, listening to the birds. I listen to the morning birds. I listen to see the crows having a crow fest in the afternoon. I'm outside a lot.
What I mean by that is, for instance, well, I do it with a dog, but I mean, you do it all by yourself. And that my partner here she actually goes out and takes the walk in it by herself. But if you go out and you take a walk, you're making everything in your body move. Your heart is pumping a little bit faster, and that you're clearing your mind. You're looking up at the stars that are going. You're looking at things that changed around the neighborhood. You can. Yeah. I actually meditate walking.
Yeah, walking meditation is awesome.
And so when I get home after walking the dog, and I mean we with the new dog now, he's good for 1.5 miles. So after we're finished that and we get home, my mind is so clean, and that I can sit down and I can do all the programming in that for 3 stations in 20 minutes.
Nice.
And I mean, usually that would take hours. But it's just everything just pops right in my head.
I just kind of crack myself up though, because I was just going to say I kind of cracked myself up because I go out to take a walk and I go five minutes one way and I come back and I find all of these treasures in the woods, these walking sticks, and I get 5 minutes from my house and come back and drop those off, and then I go 5 minutes the other way and I start finding all of these other rocks, and it's like, well, so much for a great workout or exercise, but I've got all these treasures and I'm just so happy with them, and I can do things with them. And
see, there it is. She did it.
Happy.
You did it. That's it right there. You crossed over. You crossed over into the twilight zone.
The happy.
Yeah, the happy zone. I mean,
that's my happy place.
There it is. I mean, see, that is what right there. If you go to work and remember what you did, you'll feel even better at work. Because you take everything off your shoulders. You take everything out of your mind. You just clean it all out. It's like rotor from one ear to the other. It's like zing right in there. And it really
shaking your soul out is what I call it. It's
I'm serious.
Shaking it out.
It's gone, and you perform, and you feel so good about yourself. I mean, really, seriously. I mean, this is good stuff.
Yeah, I like it. My goal is to not stop so often, 5 minutes out of my house. Just keep going, walk, and then come back and find. But I can't do that because when I see something, it's just nope, that's got my attention. It's like I really want that stick. I really want those rocks. I really want those things.
When we have happiness at home, then we can be happiness wherever we are. And I think what Bob was saying is it's because we're talking about work, and we're talking about situations where there's an office full of people that come to work every day, and maybe they don't collaborate the way that you did, Diana, separately all over the world and work independently as a team, but working as a core group in different areas to complete a task. And so if we just go to work and work's all we have, and then all we do is after work with our work friends, and then we go home and we just eat and go to sleep and get up, then that makes work just our life. And
Yeah.
We want to, or if we have a family at home that we are able to express our true feelings for, and we use the family, the pseudo family at work to become that sounding board, then we're not really anywhere. We're shifting between two different worlds. There's a way to make it all harmonious, right? As Bob said and tied it together for me, we do depend on each other in those situations. If we're building something, if we're creating something, a process, a product, something for a team, then we have to get along and we have to enjoy each other, but we don't have to cross those intimate lines to share personal things. So now it's blurred, right? And so, yes, we do depend on each other. We're interdependent, we're outer-dependent, but learning how to do that in a way where everyone can be, as you might have missed what we were trying to talk about, where everyone could benefit from doing 90-day transformation work. If everyone does this work, then they can be everywhere together, have relationships that are friendly, but they don't have to be mirrors to show us what we're not healing inside of us, and that we really need to take care of in our home and hearth. And I think that's really where this whole show went today. I was meditating, and what came through is it's a choice, right? What are you choosing? What are your choices, right? What are we choosing over something else? What are we choosing not to look at versus to circle? What are we choosing? Who are we choosing to depend on, right? Is it the people that are our home and family? Or is it someone that doesn't, as Bob so eloquently stated, if they're at work, they don't have a real vested interest in it. They're just there because they're part of our work group, right? So if we have we need to heal ourselves. We need to depend on ourselves first, so we can learn to depend and grow with our families and heal. And I think that's it. I think our show's done today. I really want to thank everyone for listening. I want to thank John Allen down in Australia for always putting the show so together fast, so quickly for us to listen to before the end of the night. Thank Bob so much. I hope everybody saw my post today to share and donate to Pyramid One Network Radio, because he really deserves to have some help here for the studio, and I'm going to be pushing that. And thank you, Bob. Thank you, for calling in, Diana and Tim.
Yeah, it was definitely an awesome show. And remember, anyone wants to call in, you just call into 605-472-5765. And the code to come in is 608060. And then you can talk right to Kellie. Easy? Yes.
Yes. Agree or disagree? Call.
There you go. And like they always say, oh yeah. You've been listening to Pyramid One Radio right here, and Kellie J. Wright. Every Monday, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Pacific Time. And around the world, heck, look at your clock and dial in. God bless y'all. Bob Charles.